What am I making for us today?
I actually don't
You
know.
have no idea, do you? Tofu scramble
With sweet potatoes.
with baked sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've got 2 whole sweet potatoes that I've cubed and some spices. So salt and pepper, smoked paprika, garlic powder, and some starch. Today I'm using, it's got tapioca starch, but you can use arrowroot starch or potato starch. I wouldn't suggest cornstarch necessarily, but the tapioca starch is really, really good. I guess what the starch does is sort of gives a bit of a crispier skin on the potato once you roast it. So I can just throw it into this pan. Allie's in the background doing the dishes and helping me clean the kitchen. So I just got a bunch of crap from my fridge that I just happened to have, including tofu, carrots, celery, tomatoes, bok choy, some cabbage. Cabbage is always good to have. And here's some video of me chopping stuff. I thought maybe it would be kind of an ASMR experience. Oh, and you get to see my crazy pants. Those pants my father bought for me at some crazy store in New Brunswick somewhere. They were like cheap tights he got from, it's probably like a dollar store purchase, but I love them. They're very comfortable. I have like 2 pairs, so I don't know why. He just thought of me when he bought them. It was really nice to get them in the mail though. So I'm dicing up my celery and carrots. You might get some ideas on how to cube things. I kind of want the vegetables like this. I want them all to be the same size so they cook at the same time. It's pretty standard. Cabbage, I just chopped off a section and kind of julienned it. You could use a mandolin if you want to make it super thin, but since I'm stir frying it, I think it'll be fine because it gets nice and tender when you stir fry it with everything. Oh, there's my pants again. You're so lucky you get to see those. They have some like anime characters on them going pow, whop, bang. Here's my onions. I'm not dicing that because I don't mind if my onion is a little bit larger. Again, it's going to be stir fried, so it's going to mix in really nicely for flavor. The only thing I forgot really for this one is ginger. I usually throw a bit of grated ginger. I would highly recommend that if you want to add a little bit more flavor. And you get to see me chopping up garlic. You're so fortunate. These ones were, because we're experiencing a pandemic right now, they're a little long in the tooth in terms of like how old the garlic is. So they have little sprouting greeny meanies coming out of the middle. So I just kind of split them open and pull those green bits out because they can be bitter, especially in the stir fry situation because you're not cooking them quite as long as you would be for a sauce. I slowed it down here because as I was chopping all these vegetables, I realized given the very difficult and weird times we're living in, I just wanted to take a moment and appreciate how beautiful these fresh tomatoes were. Fresh, ripe red tomatoes. Such a nice experience. Dice those up. They'll add some really nice moisture and flavor to the sauce for sure. Here I've got my crumble. I'm just showing all my vegetables, onions and garlic, cabbage, carrots, celery, rinsed bok choy tomatoes, and some tofu. I've got about just a little less than a pound of tofu here. I'm just crumbling it up. This stuff is firm tofu. You could probably get a medium firm and press it. And now we cook. Start off by sauteing the onions and garlic. Would you say, Allie? You said it looks good?
Looks good. I love onions and garlic.
All right, what do we call this? Onions, carrots, and celery. It's a quiz. In French cooking, it's called mirepoix. Mirepoix. Mirepoix.
Also the basis of any soup.
Very good, Allie. Wow, you're a good student. Somebody taught you something. Who taught you that?
The internet.
This is where Allie begins to tell me all of the wonderful things that the internet has taught her in terms of her cooking, and gives me, her father, and her mother absolutely zero credit, and her grandmother for that matter. Okay, so here's where I add some spices. I've got tomato, and anytime I add tomato, this is when I add some extra spice. So I've added some smoked paprika and some roasted cumin. This is when I add the cabbage, and stuff's getting a little bit out of control in terms of how much is in this pan right now, but we're gonna deal. Everything's gonna be just fine. Now we add our tofu. We want to heat that through, add some flavoring. You can add whatever kind of sauce you want right now in terms of stuff. I like the Bragg seasoning. It's a liquid soy seasoning, but you can use whatever you want, whatever floats your boat. And then we add our bok choy at the end, just to steam it through. Don't want to overcook that stuff. And it's looking colorful and nutritious and delicious. Once the bok choy is heated through and sort of wilted, it's ready to serve. I forgot to tell you to bake the potatoes. I like to roast them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I just check on them every 15 minutes or so. It only takes about 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on how much potato you have, depending on how hot your oven is. This is a heaping serving because it was really late in the day. This is like a super duper tofu scramble brunch. And yeah, it was really, really good. I'd highly recommend this feeling for a vegan option for a breakfast brunch.